Hello, and welcome to the Spoilercast, the show where we talk about movies and we don't care about spoiling them. My name is Tobias, and with me as always is my sister and trusted co-host Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And in today's episode we are talking about the brand new action spectacle fourth part in the John Wick trilogy. It's John Wick Chapter 4! Yes, we just saw, well, we didn't, at the time of recording, we saw it 2 days ago?
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. We caught a little sneak preview here in Sweden, 21st, I don't know, I don't know the release, I think it's released today, originally? I don't know. Whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we saw it. We sat through almost 3 hours of it, and I've been itching to talk about it, or I was then. I don't know if I am now, but yeah.
Life got in the way,
yeah.
As usual.
Yeah, work got in the way, basically. Yeah, so let's talk about it.
Yes.
Where do we want to start?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
I'll start by saying this. Just looking at the Metascores, and I think the audience scores as well. I might be wrong, but I'm looking it up. This is the highest ranked? No, wait.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, it is.
Huh.
By far. Like, all the other ones, the user score on IMDb is 7.4 for all of them. And of course, the Metascore has been going up steadily. 68 on the first one, 75. Oh, wait, 75 on the second one, and 73 on the third one. Okay. But this new one has an 8.7 user score and a 78 Metascore, so it's the highest one so far.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, I thought this was the worst one since the first one.
Yes, and I agree, actually.
That being said...
2 reasons.
Yeah, but I gotta say, that being said, this is still one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Oh yes.
I'm just saying, like, in a franchise of masterpieces, this is not the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it is, though. In certain aspects, I would say it is.
Oh, yes. Certain aspects, yes.
And in certain aspects, it's not.
Yes. So you said you have 2 main reasons why you think it's the worst one since the first one.
Yes.
That's a cool slogan. The worst one since the first one. You gotta do something with that. Anyway, your 2 main reasons.
Well, the main reason is it's almost too comedic. There's too much funny moments, too many ha-has that just... Or silly moments, I suppose. I don't know, it just felt like they're making fun of it a bit.
Well... I think like the main plot and the main story is not funny at all. It's very
no.
very heavy and dour. It's almost like fateful, like this heavy feeling of like doom and gloom hanging over it. Because
yes.
you know this is the end. You know this is it.
Yes.
You know, even we kind of knew this was going to be the final one.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying more than that right now. But yes. I gotta say, like, the first one is a lot funnier than this one. Like Mikael Nyqvist as whatever his name is. Not Josef, that's the son. Whatever.
Viggo.
Viggo Tarasov.
Yeah.
He is like hamming it up big time.
Yeah. Sure.
And that movie is more like quippy with all that.
Yes.
Doing a little spring cleaning, John? Yeah, Jimmy. All that stuff.
It's quippy.
Yeah.
Where in Chapter 4 is almost slapstick.
Yes, because I'm going to say, here the action is so over the top, like deliberately, like insane that you just laugh.
You also have a character that literally revs up his hand to punch someone.
Yes.
Which looks stupid, but it kind of worked for the character.
We have...
so it was a funny thing.
Yeah, Donnie Yen playing Kane, a.k.a. the Sadoichi, the blind swordsman, which is a classic, like, okay, I guess Japanese thing. He's Chinese, but still. A blind, warrior it's like this thing, it's a stereotype or a trope in action movies. Either way, yeah, but you have stuff like that. But I also think that it's because more and more of these movies have been inspired by, like kung fu cinema of like the 70s and 80s. Well,
Yes.
70s mostly. Especially this one where they even spend a lot of the runtime in Japan.
Yeah.
Where the first one was more like, oh, we're going to incorporate some MMA into the action scenes. And then, they expanded on that in the second and third movie. This is a full-on, like, kung fu movie, or like samurai movie at times. And
Which
that's like
worked.
Definitely worked. And it's always been there in the other ones as well. I mean, John Wick he's literally a samurai. Who then becomes a Ronin, basically. A masterless samurai.
Yeah.
It's classic stuff, like, obviously, and I mean, you've had a bunch of martial arts stars in the other movies, especially the third one.
Yeah. You
had a bunch of people from the Raid movies, and you had what the fuck's his name? Brandon Lee, I think. Isn't that the guy? Or am I? No, I'm thinking of someone else. Damn it. Now I need to look that up.
But do you mean the guy who played Zero?
Zero, yeah, Mark Dacascos, sorry.
Yeah, the Mark Dacascos.
Mark Dacascos. I mixed them up because they both played the Crow. Mark Dacascos played the Crow in the sequels, and Brandon Lee played him in the original.
Yeah.
But either way, he's known for, like, action movies, like, cheesy 90s action movies and, like, fight movies, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that. So here it's just, it's full on.
Yeah. Which was it was a nice contrast to because the first two movies, at least, I think, is very Russian heavy, with all the bad guys, not all the bad guys, but a bunch of them being from the Russian mobs.
First one is Russian mob, second one is Italian mob, I suppose. Third one is a mix.
That's true.
Third one is a mix. But here it's definitely, more Asian inspired. With actors like Donnie Yen and Hideyuki Sanada, Rina Sawayama, like people you actually recognize from other, like, movies. Except for, I asked you if Rina Sawayama is an actress.
She's a singer.
Or no, a singer, a singer, yeah. Because I
she
recognize
is.
her name. And she is, yes. I don't think I've heard her
She's a
music,
Japanese
though,
British pop superstar.
Yeah, but I've heard her name before. I just haven't heard her music.
I have to say, she did a fantastic job.
She was good. Yeah, she was good. She sold it.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely action. It shows that, anyone with sufficient training can become an action star.
Oh yeah. But I mean, she did the acting pretty well as well.
Yeah, she was fine. Yeah, she was fine. I'm not gonna say more than that. But yeah, you're right. Like the action, and some of the dialogue, especially Lawrence Fishburne, is a lot more funny. Like not like jokey funny. Like it's just silly. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah. And
it kind of works, but at the same time, it was a bit much eventually.
It was a bit much, but I also think that because these movies have always tried to, like, one up the last one.
Yes.
Not specifically in, like, body count, because that was a big thing, that he killed more people in the second movie than the third movie, but definitely the action was bigger in the third one.
I think I don't know if I mentioned it to you or if I said it to my boyfriend. It's like the Fast and Furious of, like, martial arts or just action in general, like physical action, not cars. They're trying
to go bigger every time.
Yeah.
And I talked about that briefly on I made some letterbox reviews for the movies that, in the third one it didn't specifically go bigger in scale or like in body count or anything, but it went deeper into like lore and stuff. I mean, they literally have like the elder sitting atop the table that everyone sits under or at, it's like, it almost becomes like mythical. And we talked briefly about that, when we were having dinner before the movie, how the filmmakers and the writers have both humanized a myth, which is the boogeyman, Baba Yaga, John Wick, but at the same time mythologized John Wick at this point, doing both, but like crisscrossing it. He starts out as a legend, and in the third movie becomes a man, But during the course of the first, second, and third movie, he goes from just being a man into becoming a legend through the actions of the movies.
Yeah.
And it kind of culminates in this one, where he is the most human in this one.
He is the most human. He's the most...
But at the same time, the most...
I'd say.
Yeah, the most vulnerable, but at the same time, the most invulnerable. He never gets shot.
No, but you know why?
I know why. The whole bodysuit, bulletproof,
armored suit,
which they introduced in the second movie, and really
perfected in this one.
Well, perfected. I don't know if they kind of abused it in this one, because he's constantly being shot, and just like, oh, that's like how he like notices. There's more people behind me because they're shooting me in the back.
The vampire thing.
Yeah, pulling up the which they were doing like sparingly in the second, especially the second movie, where he's like actually still getting hurt when they shoot him. Here's just like bang, 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 bang. Oh, whatever.
But they did make a joke out of it as well when he took the jacket off. And
and you hear the bullets fall out. Yeah. That was the thing. Like, it's just like he gets shot hundreds of times and doesn't have a scratch on him.
That was. Technically, it's one of the things that bothered me, but at the same time, it doesn't, because they're making fun of it a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's too convenient that they're all wearing body armor without wearing body armor.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you even try and shoot someone? Because they all know that everyone has that kind of suit.
I guess you're trying to go for, because it's still
trying
only...
to go for the head, obviously.
Yeah, because their shirt is still just a shirt. It's only the jacket that is bulletproof.
Yeah.
And I guess the head, yeah. And he does kill some people with his gun. But most of them, he just has to, like, shoot at them and realize, oh, shit, they also have body armor. I gotta snap their necks or whatever.
Yeah, or at least get them down so I can shoot them in the head properly.
Yeah. And just...
Which is why every fight scene took 3 times as long as it could have.
Every fight scene is so long. And we gotta talk, because I honestly think the first one is the longest one. The one in the Kyoto Continental.
Osaka, you mean?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was Kyoto.
No, it's the Osaka Continental.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The Osaka Continental.
There's a video game element to that one specifically.
There is?
Where there's waves
of
enemies. Yeah. Literally waves of enemies.
Yeah, and it goes on for so long. I'm not joking if it's like 25...
No. Probably 30
minutes long. Constant.
Especially if you count.
And not like, some pauses, but literally like a few minutes of it is pause. Rest is just him fighting and killing people with various weapons.
And the pauses are almost literally them walking into another room and it starts over.
Yes. And it just never stops. There's just wave after wave after wave after wave after wave after wave of bad guys.
They just switch they just change their location a little bit.
That's it. And he just keeps killing them.
However, that was also one of my favorite bits of the movie, because every single frame was a fucking painting.
Oh yeah. Like, I was gonna get to that as well. Like, what's the best thing in this movie is the cinematography.
Oh yeah,
it's been very good, especially in the second and third movie, and but yeah, this one, it looks so good,
especially in Osaka when they have all the neon stuff.
Lights. Yeah, the scenes where they go up to this, like, I don't know if it's like a roof patio or whatever, to drink tea. And he's just standing there, and the red is coloring him, but he's still super black because he's wearing all black, and it's middle of the night. It is so good looking. It is insane how good this movie looks. And not just that, like, all the cinematography, all the, like, movements in the fights and everything. It is fucking flawless. That's
I was constantly just
standout.
sitting there looking at it like, this is probably the most beautiful film I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just by looks.
Well, that's pushing it, but it's one of. At
the moment, when you're in trance.
Oh, sure.
It's like, oh my god.
But then you have even scenes that aren't action, like what's his name? Bill Skarsgård's character, the Marquis Bisset de Grandmont.
Yeah, he's just listed as Marquis. No one has time to write that name.
No, they start by saying his full name, Marquis Bisset de Grandmont, but then it becomes Marquis de Grandmont, and then it's just Marquis.
Yeah, because it's too long.
Like when they're in his office, or I guess like his temporary office in New York. And the sun is lighting up everything. There's these big columns. He is impeccably dressed, and when you can see the sand is running down, because the movie starts with, of course, the New York Continental again being condemned, not deconsecrated. It's being condemned this time.
Yes.
Like, this is it, because they changed their mind, I suppose, between the third and fourth movies.
Someone else.
They do explain it, but whatever. It's a little like, oh, didn't we already do this in the last
movie? But they do finish that one kind of quick.
They do. But yeah, so he goes to talk to the new guy at the table, the Marquis.
The guy at the table is sent out to like clean up. Basically.
Yeah, basically. And he sees this as a chance to climb up to the table.
Yeah.
And there's all this like heavy dialogue between them, and these long pauses. That was like, they start right away with just showing like, this is the biggest movie yet.
Yes.
And also like, we have 3 hours, we're gonna take our time. He literally pauses in between pouring sugar into his coffee, like, slowly.
Just to drag
methodically.
For 2 reasons. He's dragging out for us, the audience.
Yeah.
To make a statement, sort of, but it's also for Winston, because his time is literally running out.
Yeah. But I admire that. I admire when a movie takes its time.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, 2 hours and 40 minutes is too long. It was too long.
It was a bit long. There were moments I was like, first off, you're repeating yourself.
Yes.
Like, for a reason. They wanted to. It wasn't on accident, really. But it got a bit silly and a bit much.
It was a bit much.
And, I mean, I never really sat there going, okay, just be done, except for one time.
Yeah, the final big fight scene was
the
just...
staircase.
But it was, at the same time, they had fun with it. We'll get to that, I suppose. We'll talk more details in the spoiler section. But I did enjoy all those scenes. And I was like, almost like... If I close my eyes and don't think that this is John Wick Chapter 4, I'm like, this is like a big, like, heavy Oscar bait movie. But it's, it could have been, because dialogue is well written. The acting, especially Bill Skarsgård, I think he was great as the Marquis. Yeah. He was great, like, genuinely, like, a great performance. Not just like, good for an action. No, he was like, it was a great performance.
Yeah.
I think he
fit the role as well.
Yeah.
Because as such a tall and skinny person, he was menacing somehow.
Yeah. But still looks like Weasley.
Like a kid.
Yeah. Like a born with the silver spoon in his mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then comparing him obviously specifically to Ian McShane when they have their discussion scene.
Yeah.
The height difference.
Yeah. It works, and that's another thing. Great casting.
It's
he's a good villain.
What's it called? Yeah, no, but it's when you it's great proportions in a photo. There's a word for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Or a way to say it better, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's very well proportionate.
Yes. And that was because this movie is basically. How many action scenes you have? You have the Osaka action scene. You have the Berlin action scene in the club, Himmel und Hölle. Mm-hmm. Then you have
Chase. It's in Paris, I think. The Arc de Triomphe.
Yes, the various street locations of Paris, which ends in the l'Arc de Triomphe, and then of course the 216 steps. That's basically, there's like 4 big action scenes. Which is insane, really. There's only 4 big action scenes. There are no, like, smaller connecting ones. There's just 4 really long action scenes.
Yeah, that's true, I think.
And then it's the ending. And
there's a couple of, like, random talk scenes in between.
Yeah, exactly. Then it's connected by these long, slow, methodical scenes of people talking about fate, death, life, rules, consequences. Yeah. There's one more. That was like, they could have cut that out. Him chasing down the elder and killing the elder.
Oh, you mean like the very strange intro?
Yeah, that was like 4 minutes of him like undoing what he did in the third movie, like saying like, I want my ring back, and he's like, you can't, and if you kill me, another elder will take over. And then he kills him.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't really understand, to be honest.
Well, it's just to say that this is it's a faceless corporation, basically. It's not. There's no one person who rules.
No,
even the elder can be replaced.
Sure, but why did he want his ring back?
Because it's his wedding ring.
All right.
That's the whole thing. He's doing this for his wife.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I was thinking about, like, because the ending of number 3 is that he gets the chance to redeem himself and get rid of it all by he sacrifices his finger.
Yeah, it's a symbolic gesture.
To kill Winston, right?
Yeah, but it's a symbolic gesture that he gives up the one thing he's fighting for, the memory of his wife.
Yes.
He's basically giving up by giving away the ring. But then when he gets betrayed by Winston and the table, the corporation or whatever you call it, then of course he prepared for war. Now it's war. So then of course he goes back because he wants his ring.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But it's just that I don't know.
It's a bit unnecessary.
That could have just been him walking into the tent and saying, "I want my ring back."
Yeah.
He didn't have to have the horse chase because it was
very
that being
short,
the first. Very awkward, him shooting on horseback.
Yeah.
It looked weird. It was a weird way to start a movie.
Funny you say awkward. Keanu Reeves is a bit awkward at times.
Well, he's always been awkward.
Yeah, but like when he's walking, he looks so uncomfortable. And it doesn't look like he's walking uncomfortably because his character is hurt. It just looks like his legs are bent the wrong way or something.
Haven't we talked about that? That he's always looked funny when he runs. And you can tell
probably
when he's walking as well. Oh, okay. I also, do you call it bow-legged when your legs are a bit? Yeah, he's always looked a little funny, it
was just so apparent here for some reason.
Well, he is getting older.
He looks very cool usually, but then he started running or walking. You're like, dude.
Yeah,
he is getting older.
But yeah, this is 9 years since the first movie. So just that, I mean, he's aged basically 10 years since the first movie, and I mean, he is 59 this year. He's 58, so he's 58 when he shot the movie. That's old, especially like sure, there's a bunch of old action stars, but there's no one who's 58 is supposed to do this much action. Like, I get that he's tired. Yes. That was even a joke in the last movie, when he gets kicked around so much that there's literally an outtake in the movie where he stumbles to get up, and the two other actors like move up, and he's like, no, I'm fine. And they just kept that in the movie. It's towards the end when he fights the two guys in the glass room.
Yeah. The ones who are so, like, everyone's so, we're so honored to fight you.
Yeah, exactly. So,
despite aging, it doesn't look like he's aged in other ways than the walking. You can tell that his body is a bit tired, and he's graying a little bit. But apart from that, he looks exactly the same.
Basically, yeah.
Great genes, I suppose.
I suppose. I mean, he's all. I was looking at a picture, and it looks like his fly is open in the picture. No, maybe.
What picture?
Hold on, I'll send it to you in the chat.
That would be funny.
Tell me, doesn't it look like his fly is open?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Like you see the zipper thing there?
Yeah.
No.
Who knows? I wonder if that is a screenshot from the movie, if that's just a random screenshot from like an outtake or something.
I mean, it looks like a movie. I don't know. Either way, sorry.
Weird. Never mind.
Yeah,
Just
I got sidetracked. Where were we? Well, yeah, the movie and him being old, but still
Yes.
definitely pulling it off.
yes.
There are so many scenes of him like doing fucking takedowns in this movie. There's so many takedowns in this movie because every enemy he has to basically get down on the ground so you can shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
Because everyone is wearing bulletproof clothing. It's insane. But then I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
The second thing I didn't really like about this movie.
Well, that's true. Yeah, sure.
Is the new, somewhat important character, Mr. Nobody, or the Tracker.
Well, there are several characters.
Yeah, but him specifically.
Okay. Right.
I didn't feel like he was too much of a plot convenience throughout the movie.
I mean, they've had that before, though. Willem Dafoe in the first movie literally saves his life twice.
That's true.
In one of the most important scenes in the movie, the one where he says, "So you can either give up your son, or you can die screaming next to him." He's supposed to die in that scene because they just put a bag over his head while his hands are tied behind his back. And he only survives because Willem Dafoe snipes the guy in the head.
That's true.
They have done that before.
Sure. But he was all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
This one.
But
the dog thing is kind of a throwback to the first movie and
the third movie.
And the third movie.
Yeah. Because it's an attack dog.
Yeah.
There's several scenes where there are people walking around and then you hear a...
Yeah.
And then everyone stops and like, oh shit. And turn and you see the dog. Literally like 3 times in the movie.
Even the coloring of the dog and the shape of it made it like a combo of the first dog and the chapter 3 doggos that, what's her name? Sarah had?
Halle Berry.
Yeah, Sophia, not Sarah.
Sophia, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't really have a problem with him, or the fact that they kind of humanized Kane as well. The second-hand bad guy in this movie. That he, they kind of made him into a John Wick-esque character as well. We just, haven't followed him for 3 movies. But he's literally done the same thing. Like he got out, but then he had to get back in because they had a hold on him, his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of no, wait. Well, they kind of make a character out of, what's his name? Shit. The guy who runs the Osaka Continental.
Akira's father?
Yes, Akira's father.
Ooh.
Versus Shimazu.
Oh yeah.
Hiroyuki
Sanada.
Yes, exactly. Hiroyuki Sanada. He has a background with both John Wick and Kane. His daughter is involved, and like there's even history between Kane and Shimazu. Like, so when they have their fight in the garden, it's all like this is because the other movies were all just John Wick.
Yeah.
The biggest side character we had was Sophia in the last movie, and she was really only in it for 20 minutes in the middle of the movie.
One fight scene and a couple of talks. And the only connection she really has to anyone here is her connection to John.
Yeah, exactly. So they were like expanding the roster of characters here to those 3. But
ultimately, it's all still circulating around.
Sure.
Wick.
But that made me think that so this is where they're like introducing characters for potential spin-offs, perhaps, or just in general expanding the cast so that because there's times in this movie where it's not about John Wick at all. Like long stretches of time where it's all about Kane or all about Shimazu or all about the Tracker, Mr. Nobody. And I think that is to softly like a soft introduction of an expanded franchise, expanded world,
Yes.
I just get that feeling. And we kind of had it in the third movie as well, with the Ruska Roma and the Bowery King and everything. And they keep doing that in this one. Like it's not just exploring or world building for fun. It's like they're obviously setting something up, which I don't like. I really hope this is the last we see of any not just John Wick, but like this world. Like, move on, do something. This universe. Else. Yeah, exactly.
I agree on that part, but I did like the world building we got.
Yeah, I don't mind the world
characters
building.
We got to know shortly and briefly, but just enough to have like a little bit of importance in like why they're in John's life at the moment.
Sure. I don't mind that. This is good world building because it doesn't get in the way of the story.
No.
But now that we know that they are going to like spin it off, it feels like, don't though.
It was already a little bit too much having 4 movies. I do understand why.
Yeah.
And I think we'll talk more about that in a separate episode.
Yeah, in the companion piece where we'll talk about the first 3 movies and what's to come. Yeah.
But normally I'd say like it's 3 movies or less, basically.
Yeah.
But I can understand and appreciate why they did it for John Wick.
Yeah, I suppose. It's kind of funny because I just clicked on the trivia on IMDb and there it says. The first thing that pops up is, this series, or the series, was supposed to be a trilogy. During or shortly after John Wick was made. Yeah. Seeing its growing success, the filmmakers wanted to make sure to continue to expand the universe in which the film takes place. So yeah, they were supposed to make 3 movies. That's why, that was always what I'd heard. That's why the ending of the third one surprised me. And I was like, what? No.
Yeah.
And why I wasn't... I mean, I was still pumped to see the 4th one because I was pretty sure it was going to be great. But at the same time, like, imagine if they just had made 3 movies. If that was the 3rd movie and it actually ends with, Winston and John, like, yeah, they're both like not part of the company anymore or the high table or whatever, but they get to walk away in the end. The adjudicator's just like, we'll leave you alone from now on. That would have been fine.
Yeah,
and we would have had the rarest of rarities in cinema, a perfect trilogy.
Yes.
I know one other perfect trilogy, and that's Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
And that's pushing it, because the 3rd one is great, but it's nowhere near as good as the first 2 ones. First 2. Can you mention another perfect trilogy? Where every movie is great. Where it's not like, well, the 3rd one is okay.
No.
Yeah. Maybe The Dark Knight. Maybe. But but there are flaws, especially in the 1st and 3rd movie.
Yeah, and that's still building on a character that already has so much world building around it. So it feels like cheating.
Yeah.
And we're still technically having more world building around that character in new franchises and movies. So that feels like cheating.
Yeah.
But purely like one trilogy and that's all they ever made, nah, I don't think that exists.
Nope. We had Pirates of the Caribbean, then they made 2 more. And then
they expanded.
We had the Scream movies, even though the 3rd one is not as good, I would have said that would have been a perfect trilogy. But then they made 3 more now. And there's going to be more.
I'm not mad at them, but...
No, I'm not mad at them, but it's never going to be a perfect trilogy.
It ruined the perfect trilogy, yeah.
I was going to say, we had The Matrix, but that was ever only one good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
And honestly, I don't think that John Wick 3 could have been a good ending unless it ended like the 4th did, which I'm not going to mention.
Oh, you think so? Well, let's do this then.
Let's get into spoilers then.
Let's get into spoilers.
Do the general one. Great, fantastic movie.
Yes, great movie.
Beautiful, and great music, great cinematography and action and acting and dialogue and all of it.
If you like the first three, you're gonna love this one as well. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It has some of the best action. The fact that he finally got to use nunchucks and use them properly was so much fun.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite moments in the movies when he got the nunchuck. And it wasn't even just a one-off. He kept using it for like 10 minutes. Yeah. Great movie. Great movie. But we gotta get into some spoilers. Guess what? He dies in the end. We kind of saw this one coming, though. Because like you said, it's really the only outcome for John Wick.
Yes. It is really the only outcome. And that's why I kind of wanted him to die at the end of number 3 when Winston shoots him off the fucking roof.
But that would have been a terrible ending. Like, yeah, we survived. Now I'm gonna betray you. And
yeah, you had to like tweak a little bit of everything else as well, obviously. But it would have also been kind of poetic that you've done all this to blah, blah, blah. But you know what? In this industry, they're still gonna stab you in the back and shoot you.
Yeah, but I think the third one could have worked as a happy ending. That they actually like they showed the company like, no, you can throw whatever you want at us. We're just gonna like he says in the end of the second one, I will kill anyone and everyone who comes for me. So in the end of the third one, they just say, fine. We're just gonna let it go. I think that
he could have just been excommunicado and then just not have a bounty on him.
Yeah, just live his life. Like they remove the bounty. You
lose all the privileges, and you are technically not allowed to like contact or do anything within the industry. But we will leave you alone as long as you stay out of it.
Because that's what he wanted. That was the whole thing with the first movie. Yeah,
that's what he did in the first movie. That was
he was
where
out.
It started.
Yeah, he was out. But the fourth one, because of what happens, because of partly what happens in the third one, and the fourth one, where they're literally like tearing down the entire organization because of John Wick, more or less. Like anything he has touched, they're burning to the ground, and he's touched a lot of that organization. There really isn't another outcome, and especially because he's so tired in the end of that movie. Not even just in the final duel. Like
no.
Like after Osaka, he's just tired the entire movie.
As soon as he gets his like chance to like, yes, I can finally do this in the easy way. I can do the duel. That's it. I don't have to fight anyone else. And it's like, fuck no, I have to fight everyone else to get there.
Yeah, they throw every assassin and thug and criminal in France or Paris on him.
Oh, yeah,
and some Spanish guys.
Yeah, because they've been traveling around.
Yeah,
they've been following him. Well, that's the Marquise people, right?
Yes.
All of them were also very big and tall dudes, making it look kind of funny because Keanu Reeves isn't that tall.
Isn't he?
No, I don't think he is.
I thought he was.
Because he's always shorter than everyone else in the scene, almost. Except for Winston, obviously, because he's shorter. Much shorter. Like, whenever he's talking to the Bowery King or Sharon, he's always slightly shorter than them.
I don't know if we can look. I don't know where to find... Oh, here it is. He's slightly taller than me. I guess he's regular height. I'm
yeah, I suppose. But
I'm
then
180.
They hired
186. So
they hired all the extra tall dudes.
Well, yeah, of course,
making it look kind of funny.
Yeah, because they're a bigger obstacle for him to take down. Yeah.
Yeah, and the bigger they are, the bigger they are. No.
Yeah, exactly. The bigger they are, the bigger they are.
That's from a movie.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Will Ferrell, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. Where were we?
No, that is the only ending for him. He can't really get out of this unless he's dead.
Yeah, and they do set that up, like we said, with the tone being very heavy, very like
yes.
Like it, I mean, they talk a lot about like what comes after, death, what's going to be in the gravestone. Of course, death also kind of looms over this movie because for in movie but also real reasons, Lance Reddick who plays Charon or Sharon, gets
yeah.
killed early on in the movie. He gets shot by the Marquis to show, like, no, we mean business. We're going to kill a main character here. But also, he died shortly before the premiere of the movie, unexpectedly.
Very unexpectedly.
Which then was kind of like, oh, when they're just going to shoot him 5 minutes into the movie.
They couldn't really plan that.
Of course not, because they filmed it like last year, so of course.
It was even like he died so close into the premiere that they couldn't even edit in memory of.
Yeah, there was no in memory
credits.
of, but that's completely understandable. I'm just saying, like, it was hanging over the movie, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you understand it though, because John Wick's been running for the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
He's obviously and visibly tired of this.
Yes. And, like, every time he thinks he's winning, he just digs a little deeper.
Yeah.
And and honestly, that is kind of what they've said ever since the first movie. When Winston says, if you dip so much as a pinky back into the water, it's gonna like swallow you whole, was what he said when he came back to the Continental. And that was the whole thing with the second movie. Like, there's consequences to come back. You can't just come back and then leave again. Because there are people who have, like, holes on you. Santino had the marker,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And of course, the third movie is all about rules and consequences, which they bring back in this one then.
Yeah.
There was really only one outcome, and that's that he dies. So the ending, they kind of have their cake and eat it though, because he does win. He wins. He manages to kill the Marquis, even though the Marquis had promoted a champion to duel in his stead. He still got to kill the Marquis in the duel.
So he did die a free man.
Yeah, he won. He was free, but then and that's also something they talked about, like that he feeds on the vengeance, like when that's why he keeps. They talk about this in the second one, like if he doesn't have something to fight for, he's
something to chase.
Yeah, he's just gonna die, and that's literally what it is. He's free, so he sits down. And just dies because he's nothing to go on to. That's also, they talk about that just before the movie, just like the third one. It's a little ham-fisted with the themes, but that's fine because it's supposed to be an action movie for dummies. Anyway, when they say like those who cling to life eventually dies, and those who cling to death, live on. So he's been clinging on to life for dear life, because that's all he has. He has to live on to remember his wife.
Yeah, because he has this weird idea that the only way to remember my wife and I guess be happy is to live.
Yeah,
which it sounds weird to say that's a weird idea. It's true, but it's
true in the
like,
first movie. Where they take away the memory he has of her, the dog.
Yes,
the dog symbolizes it's not just a fucking dog like this in the movie.
No, it's not a fucking puppy.
Problem is that he has his revenge in the first movie. He kills Joseph. He kills Vigo even though he doesn't really have to. And if he had just done the job. In the second movie, he does the job, but then
he does the job, and
Santino sends people after him. But there was a way. If he hadn't killed Santino in the hotel, it would have been over, because he was like, "Fine, I'm going to let it go." But he can't because he
needs to have something to do, literally.
Yeah, because it was he was the boogeyman again. This almost inhuman person who's just fueled by hatred and vengeance. And that's why he ends up where he ends up. So when he can finally let go of all that anger and hatred and vengeance, his body literally gives up and he dies.
Well, he's also been shot 3 times, but
Well, that's symbolically.
Yes.
He's been shot thousands of times and still survived.
Yes.
He's been stabbed. He's been strangled. I mean, he's died so many times over in these movies.
Yeah, sure. But there's one thing that I appreciated with it, because they did have the armored suits.
Yeah.
it didn't feel like because we mentioned that in the episode of Scream 6. In that one, they get stabbed and you see it, and there's blood, and they're still, like, walking around like they're fine, which is stupid in that movie. It doesn't make sense in that universe.
Especially the end.
In this universe, I can accept that he's getting shot at and kicked and hit and tossed around, and still being able to stand up and keep fighting.
Because
But it's the actual shot to the gut that kills him eventually.
Yeah.
Because it works in this universe.
Yeah.
It didn't feel stupid, like, how the fuck are you standing up after that? No, it's fine.
It is. Yeah, I mean, I'm not questioning the movie logic. It holds up.
Yes.
It's just silly.
It's a bit silly.
It's silly, yeah.
There were so many moments where the entire audience audibly gasped from, like, the pain that must have been, like, falling from that height, hitting that concrete beam thing. Oh my god.
That's also something, I think they just wanted to one-up the third one, because the ending of the third one, I remember, like, oh my god, he died. He broke his neck.
Yes.
But then he gets up, and like, how did he survive that? He survives 2 of those falls in the 4th movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one in Berlin and one in Paris when he jumps out the window. And he lands on the car.
Right, Jesus Christ.
Which is even taller.
Oh, I forgot about that action scene. That's technically a separate one, I suppose.
No, but it's part of the streets of Paris.
I guess.
I lump those together.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
The intersection, the Arc de Triomphe, the old building would literally become a video game. Because it looks like Hotline Miami, just walking through rooms and everything's like overhead shot. Awesome, though, because he has a dragon's breath ammo for the gun. So he just sets all the enemies on fire. And there's this methodic, the camera's just slowly moving, almost like they've like of course it's pre-programmed because they've choreographed everything.
Yeah.
But like the camera just knows exactly where to go and he just follows along. It's literally a video game.
Yeah.
So awesome though. So cool.
And
it was also like, because at this point, like I said, they started repeating some like story beats from the earlier movies.
Yes.
Like we said, we had a guy with a dog this time. We had the whole deconsecrating or condemning of the Continental in New York.
And then they're doing it again also for the Osaka.
Yeah, exactly. It was starting like, and the same with the fights.
You had the cleanup crew coming in.
Yeah.
And him having to fight the cleanup crew.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Same with the fights. Like, so they needed, but they still managed to be inventive with the fight scenes.
Oh yeah.
Because that overhead
even if
shot.
The basis is the same. The fighting is still new.
Yeah, and introducing new weapons.
Because they take advantage... Yeah, they introduce new weapons. They take advantage of the surroundings being different.
Yeah.
They up the ante a little bit by having 2 different cleanup crews walking around. You have the guys in the black masks and, like, tactical gear.
Yeah, like the ending of the third one.
Yeah, but then you have the grey suits, the marquee guys.
Yeah. But, like...
And then onto that, you're adding his associates, in this case, the staff of the Osaka Continental.
Yeah, where they introduced bows, and of course nunchucks, and then the biggest one, swords, which they haven't used before this, which is insane. They've used knives and guns, but now we got swords. That was cool.
You can't run around New York with a sword, though.
No, I guess. But that would have been...
in Osaka, I suppose.
Okay, I suppose.
I don't know.
Yeah. The only one, I wish we got more of that. They gave us one shot with it in the third movie, and he was carrying it around in this movie, but never used it. An old school 6-shooter revolver. You know, he builds one in the beginning of the third one, and then he fires it once.
He puts in one bullet, fires it, and runs away. Yes,
and then we get into the room with all the knives, which is one of the best scenes in the whole franchise.
Oh my God.
They're just
we'll get to that
crashing.
As well.
We'll talk. Yeah, sorry. So in this one, when he walks into the Ruska Roma compound in Berlin, he has to give up his weapons, and he pulls out the revolver, or a revolver at least. And I'm like, why haven't you been using the 6-shooter? It would be so cool. Him shooting from the hip like that would be so cool, but we never saw it.
Isn't it the one he uses in the desert chase, though, in the beginning?
No, that's a regular, whatever, semi-automatic gun. It is.
Because it looks very cowboy in that scene. So I figured it could have been that one.
Yeah, it should have been, but it wasn't. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's too bad. I wish we saw more. But then, of course, we did get the dueling pistols in the end.
Yeah, it is very impractical if you compare it to modern day weapons, so I understand why.
Sure, but I mean, you could still do some fun things with it, you know.
And also for movie magic logic thing, you can kind of disregard the fact that he has to stop and put in new bullets all the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the bullet count worked specifically well.
They've always been very
be
not always sticking strictly to, you know, he can only shoot this and this many rounds before having to reload. But there's always been, like, reloading has always been a thing in the movies. Constantly reloading.
Sure.
And they did it in this one as well in the beginning, but towards the end, they felt like he was just shooting hundreds of bullets between reloads.
Yeah.
It felt like. And it might
he even throws away a gun at one point and magically still has 2 guns. Like, you don't see him take it up or take one from, like, a holster or something. He just has another gun again. Yeah,
when he gets that special gun in the end from the Bowery King.
Yeah.
Which they, like, hint at has, like, a built-in knife or something, which we never see. I was like,
it looks like it extends. I don't know. Something happens.
Yeah, they never use that because...
He throws that in the head of something.
He shoots that until the bullets are out. Like, what is it, 8 rounds or something? No, it is an extended mag, so I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know how many rounds are in a mag.
But then, when he runs out of ammo, he throws that gun away! And he never picks it up. I thought it was, he's gonna pick it up. No, he doesn't.
He just has another gun magically.
What was the point of introducing that as some sort of special gun then? God damn it.
Well, you can just throw it away.
Yeah, and keep using everyone else's
gun.
Slide
it on the streets of Paris.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a nitpick, though. Whatever.
Yeah. And it like, honestly, it doesn't bother me. It's just, when you're watching, like, hold up, your gun! And then, ooh, what's that? You just keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. There's your special gun? Okay, whatever. We're fighting these guys now. Okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
All in all, this movie, like, it, even though it's long, it didn't feel too long. It just works somehow.
Yes.
It's a perfect way to tie up so many loose ends, despite, like, bringing in new string and ends and stuff. But they all tie up in the end, one way or another.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like I said, it's the weakest because of the not of all. I still think the first one is the weakest one.
Yeah,
I know, that's
it's not. And the thing, we'll get to that as well, but it's not. It's just because it's not as extravagant, I suppose.
Yes, because the other ones, they had more money, they could go all out. The first one is. But the first one is still great. I mean, we'll talk about that more in the Patreon episode, but like it reinvigorated the action genre.
Yes.
There were movies before it, of course, that tried, and some that I would say are part of it, like Fast 5. Show that you can actually make a really good, old school, big budget action movie. But it wasn't until John Wick where everyone kind of like,
there was something unique about it.
Yeah, Fast 5 was too niche, because it was part of Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
And that was why, The Expendables tried, but everyone hated those movies for some reason. I get why, but I like them.
The first 2, yes. The third one,
I prefer the third one over the second one, but okay.
We'll get to that in the future because apparently there's another one coming.
Oh God! Okay. Yeah, I guess
we'll
talk about
somewhere.
That. But yeah, so the first one like showed us that old school action is still a thing, and I mean it's after that we've had this resurgence of action, of big budget action movies. We've always had like the small, like shitty. Like mini
straight to Netflix.
Yeah, mini budget, like no offense to Scott Adkins, but like Scott Adkins starring movies that they like churn out like 2 a year. They cost like $5 million to make. Or like a bunch of all those straight to DVD and Tony Banderas action movies that he keeps making, even though he should be doing like
Or,
great dramas, which he does as well. But
the way too many action comedy movies that star The Rock and what's his name, the short guy,
Kevin Hart. Yeah, but those are big budgets. That's main.
So, sure, but they're still terrible.
I'm talking. Yeah, sure, but I'm talking about like. The Jason Statham movies that nobody watches, like Wild Card and Parker and Hummingbird, like all those movies, the fucking Universal Soldier sequels, like they all have great action in them, but they don't reach a wider audience because they're small, like literally like micro budget movies, basically. That are just released on DVD and to streaming platforms, so nobody sees them, and they're not great. I've seen some of them. They're not great. The action is good, but that's it.
The thing that John Wick gets, specifically in number 4, I mean, it's all throughout them, but specifically on number 4 and number 3, is the attention to detail.
Yes.
There's not just for story, but for, like, visuals and characters and... Oh my god. Choosing how to, like, dress every single character...
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a distinct style while still having some sort of coherence that they connect to this underworld of assassins.
Yeah.
So cool.
And that's also something that kind of became a thing in the second and third movie.
Yeah.
The first one was more janky. But like I just want to read because I what I wrote when I reviewed John Wick on Letterboxd. I wrote, "This is what happens when you take a generic direct-to-DVD action movie starring Scott Adkins, no offense to Mr. Adkins, but you increase the budget and get a proper movie star for your lead role. And you just, that's the whole thing, like you just have, it's just slightly better written, it's just slightly, like we said, more expensive, so they can spend more money on action set pieces and choreography and stuff, slightly higher production value, and that's all it takes to make, to go from, shitty direct-to-DVD action movie to, at this point, like an action classic or a movie, a classic movie, I would say.
Yeah.
When John Wick becomes like 15 years old, I think it's going to be counted among classics.
Oh yeah, this is a franchise and a movie specifically where you can rewatch this till the end of times.
Oh yeah.
Like it's never gonna go old. It's never gonna be like. I mean, technologically it might be old, but it's always gonna look good somehow.
Yeah.
It's the composition of the imagery. That's the word I was looking for before.
Composition, okay.
Every single frame has perfect composition with colors and the sizes of objects and people, and oh my god, it's beautiful. And then you have fantastically choreographed fighting on top of that. With great story and great acting. Like, is there really anything wrong with this movie?
Well, yes, there is. Like we said.
But overall.
No, it's not. It's great.
Sure, there's always details. There's always details that
always
are
details.
Not perfect.
Yeah.
But overall, this movie is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Yeah. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Because I still think I don't know. There's always been details in all of the movies that holds it back from being like a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. As entertainment, yes, definitely. But as a movie, there are things I miss in these movies, especially the first one and this one.
Oh, but I'm saying number 4 specifically is a 5 out of 5 for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not for me. I looked at it. I rated all of these as a 4. They're on they're even though I think 2 and 3 is better than 1 and 4, they're still all 4 out of 5s for me.
Yeah. For different reasons.
Yeah, exactly, for different reasons. But like we said, like I said, looking at the Metascore and the user rating on IMDb, people seem to really like this one the most. And reading
it might be like the it's new and shiny still. I don't know.
Might be. But I mean, looking at Letterboxd, It has almost exclusively 4s, 4.5s, and 5s. A lot of 5s.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm reading like reviews from friends, recent reviews. But here, Matt Lynch, which I think he's a real critic. I'm not sure. 4 to 5 just writes Homeric, like epic, like the Homer, the Odyssey. Yeah, and I agree. Like this is probably the most epic, just because of the scope of it and the look of it.
I'm sorry. I sorted on like lowest score and found a bunch of half-star reviews.
Of course, there's always going to be that.
Yeah, but one person who actually wrote a review didn't really justify the half-star.
Okay.
It felt very long. The rolling stairs scene killed me.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, should we talk a little bit about that? Because that was both hilarious and so frustrating.
Yes.
Because
it was ridiculous in both ways.
Yes. He is scheduled for a duel at dawn.
At sunrise.
At sunrise, yeah.
6:03.
6:03 at Sacre-Cœur. They're gonna duel. So he has to be there. If he's not there by sunrise, he forfeits the duel and he loses.
Yeah, it's an automatic defeat.
Then they'll just kill him, yeah. So he has to, first of all, survive the night in Paris with now a $40 million bounty on his head, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And like I said, every associate in Paris coming after him.
Because he has a 40 million bounty on his head, exactly. And the Paris underground radio station kind of like telling everyone where he is.
That's a big it's a big Warriors reference. Have you seen the Warriors?
No.
Oh, okay. That was a huge reference. The whole thing with just seeing the mouth and all the close up. Hey, all you boppers out there! This goes out to in that one. She says this goes out to the Warriors. So you better run because all the gangs in New York come after them because they think they killed the big gang leader when they didn't, right. And all that. Good movie.
I've seen it in other movies though. So
Okay. I exactly.
recognize that it's
and they even played the song "Nowhere to Run," but there's some shitty pop cover of it.
Yeah.
There are some other references in the movie, but I can't remember them now, like obvious references. But whatever. Yeah, the
staircase.
The staircase. So he gets to the famous staircase, the 216 steps up to the Sacré-Cœur.
Is it 222?
I thought it was 216. Oh, whatever.
I thought they said 222 in the movie.
Okay.
I don't
know. And he's like, because he's been fighting all the way through Paris, and he's like,
he's tired.
And have to get up all these steps. He's like, fine. He starts walking up, and of course, the entire staircase is just filled with bad guys. And he's like, ugh. So he fights them all the way up, and you can just see how tired he is. He gets all the way up to the final. He's up.
Yeah. And
then the Spaniard comes out, kicks him once, and he rolls down the entire staircase all the way to the bottom. I laughed so hard. Because it was
you and almost everyone else in the entire theater.
It was so ridiculous. It was that you couldn't do anything else but laugh. Like you
I mean, I did sigh a little bit, going
of course, because
did they have
to get all the way up again? Yes, oh my god, because that fight had already been like 10 minutes long, and they had to do it all over again.
Technically, though, it wasn't 10 minutes long.
No, it wasn't.
Because I timed it, and they kept to real life minutes, not just movie minutes.
Well, they went over a little bit.
He was, a little bit, but he was, the second time he was at the top of the stairs and he was done, it had gone 7 minutes and like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Which is what he had. He had 7 minutes when he looked at the watch at the bottom of the stairs the first time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they actually stood like, that was good. That was a good detail.
Yeah. But it felt...
Which they never otherwise do.
Rarely, yeah.
It felt like it was longer, but it wasn't.
Definitely felt, because he had to start over. And I mean...
He did have help halfway through, though.
Of course, Kane shows up, and he's like...
Yeah.
And that's also like, a good way to have Kane help him, is that Kane has to be the one who kills him. Otherwise,
Yes.
they will kill his daughter. So he's like, I'm gonna help you survive, so I can kill you. That's great. That we've seen that in the movies, of course, but it worked for this as well. But
that was a lot of the people who helped him only because they had to kill him for one reason or another.
Yeah.
The tracker wanted to kill him because he wanted the bounty. He really wanted that house that he had in his sketchbook.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was his entire reason for doing this.
But then, of course,
until John Wick spared and saved his dog.
Yeah, and it is. Yeah, that's where he kind of lets that dream go, because in the end, he is happy that John Wick survives. And he has no plans on killing him. Well, first of all, he can't.
No, there's no point. The bounty's gone by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's just happy his dog's still there.
Yeah,
he realizes the true importance of life. His loved ones, I suppose.
Yeah.
The dog in this case.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic movie.
It is. Overall, fantastic.
I guess I would say that don't watch it in theaters unless you have a comfortable seat, because it's so long.
It is very long, yes.
I think we would have absolutely hated parts of it if we hadn't been in the like VIP seats.
The nicer seating, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like sitting down in the regular seats, oof, no.
No, especially in that theater.
Yeah.
Christ.
They're like old seats in that one.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Love that theater, but those seats are horrible.
Yes. But yeah. I
think we need to round this up so we can talk about the other things for the Patreon episode instead.
Yes. So let's round out there, or wrap it up here. Fantastic movie.
Yes.
I
don't know what else to say.
No, yeah.
We've been praising it all this time, though, so I mean, there's nothing more to say, really.
I just want to reiterate what I wrote on Letterboxd here. Ultimately, John Wick 4 is a worthy sequel and a good bookend to the franchise. And at this point, you can't really ask for much more.
No.
So please don't make a bunch of inferior spin-offs and TV series. Let this franchise die with dignity. Move on. Make something different, please.
Yes.
If anyone hears this, well, we know they won't, because there's too much money to be made. We have to keep the brand alive. And that's the worst part about this, that,
it's so good, they're not gonna let it go.
Exactly. They can't just end it. They can't just end it on a high note. They're gonna have to run it into the ground, and in 10 years we'll have fucking, I don't know what they're gonna call it, Ballerina 5, and it's terrible. Nobody cares anymore.
Akira's gonna have her own franchise.
Yeah. Kane's gonna come back.
Mia teams up or something.
We're gonna be on the fifth season of the Continental, and now they're in space. It's just like, oh no. And
it's a blessing and a curse when you make such a great movie and franchise.
And just like we talked about a while back ago when we briefly mentioned the fucking Evil Dead franchise, you won't be able to say, oh, remember those really good John Wick movies? They were great 10 years ago. Because we can't let things die anymore. Even when the main character dies, we can't let the franchise die.
The franchise lives on.
Yeah. Like they said in Star Wars, no one's ever really gone. Which is just one of the worst things ever to happen to the movie industry. Anyway, sorry to end on a low note, but I just had to, because I know that's where we're going.
If you want to just keep listening to us, though, check out the Patreon episode that will be out on the Monday following the release date of this episode.
Yes. So now this Monday, or whenever you're listening to this, it's out already.
Yes.
Check us out. Patreon.com. Yeah, patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. So that's gonna have to be it. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you in the next episode, which will probably be Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh yes.
But until then, have a good one. Bye. The Spoilercast is part of Please Don't Make a Scene. It is produced and directed by Tobias Vedén and hosted by Tobias and Rebecca Vedén. Executive producer is Annika Vedén and Laura Kinney. I also want to give a huge shout out to all our patrons over on patreon.com/don'tmakeascene. Mom, Dad, Laura Kinney, Danny Del Gaiso, and Mac and Mom.